If you don't already have access, just remember that this resource is free remotely. You can go ahead and sign up from our webpage if you haven't already. Uh, well, welcome everyone. Uh, just remember the San Francisco Law Library is open to everyone, and we're happy that you could make it to our program today. Please put your questions in the chat, and we'll get to them at the end. And we're very happy to introduce today's topic and speaker, here to teach about using features and updates to the Lexis Digital Library is Andrea Roberts. Welcome, Andrea.
Thanks, Aaron. Hi, everyone. Again, I'm Andrea Roberts, your LexisNexis Digital Library Consultant. And today we are just going to go over all of the features and functionality you have access to through this resource. As Aaron mentioned, this is a free resource provided through the San Francisco Law Library. And I really quickly just want to point out how to get to it. If you are in the San Francisco Law Library's website, if you scroll down here, you'll see that there are links to legal databases. If you click on that and scroll down a little further, you'll see a link to Lexis Digital Library. There's a link that takes you directly to the website itself, and down below, it links to additional information and how-to guides in case you want additional information. If you don't already have access to the digital library, reach out to your library staff here. They can set you up with an ID so that you can access this content from wherever you happen to be working, whether it's at home or the office. You'll have access to this product. Once you log in, this will be what your homepage looks like. When you first log in, this will be blank because you haven't read anything. But as you use the digital library, this will continuously populate and update. As you scroll down, you'll see all of your recently read titles. We're looking at my recently read. If you've added any notes or highlights, those will populate here as well. If you create any tags, those will populate too on the right-hand side. So this homepage is really just an easy way to jump into your most recently used items. Everything I'm doing on the computer, you can do on any mobile device. So if you prefer using a phone or a tablet to do your research, you can download the free LexisNexis Digital Library app. It's available on the App Store for iOS devices or the Google Play Store for Android devices. Just search LexisNexis Digital Library. It's a free download. And once you download it, you'll log in just like you would on your browser. The only difference is the app will ask you for a library code. Anytime you're asked for a library code, it'll be the end of your URL here, which is just SF Law Library. So again, anytime you're asked for a library code, it's just SF Law Library. Once you enter that into the app, it'll ask you to log in, just like you normally would. And anything you do on one device will sync amongst all of your devices. So, if you start reading on your tablet and the next time you pick it up, you're on your laptop or desktop, any notes or highlights, any bookmarks, everything will sync from device to device. On the left-hand side are all of your navigation tools. If you click Browse Library, that's going to take you to a handful of curated collections that the library staff has put together just to make it easy to access the most frequently used content. You'll see there's a California practice collection up at the top here. A little farther down, you'll have your admin law, followed by discovery, real estate and real estate forms, and then at the very bottom, your recently added collection. Recently added is going to show you anything newly purchased by the library, but also any new additions or releases added as well. These collections only show you the first 6 titles within a collection, but if you want to see the entire collection, you can either click on the right-hand side where it says see all 27 titles, or click on the collection name itself. At the very bottom of this page, if we keep scrolling down, you're going to see hyperlinks for various subjects and jurisdictions. If you click see all 52 subjects on the right-hand side here, that's going to take you to an alphabetical listing by jurisdiction and practice area of everything that's included within this library. Excuse Excuse me. This is a really easy way to see exactly what's part of your library's collection. You can come in here, click on any specific practice area, and it will automatically narrow those results to that specific or those specific titles. There's nothing that you can click on that would incur any kind of additional charge. Anything that's available on the law library's website here is available to you, so feel free to use it. Up at the very top of this page too, you'll see the search bar. So no matter where you are within the digital library, you'll always have access to the search bar. You can search for a title, an author, a subject, a practice area, whatever it is you're looking for. But keep in mind, this search bar is only going to look through title information. It's not looking through any of the content of the individual volumes themselves. But if I knew I just wanted everything that has to do with family law, you can type in family. And it's going to bring me to all of the individual family law specific volumes. You'll see as you scroll down here, it defaults to what they call all titles. And that's really just individual volumes expanded out. If you prefer to see things grouped together as a set, you can click on the sets option on the right here. It'll group all of these together as sets. It's user preference, so however you prefer to see your search results. You can also filter on the left-hand side here by jurisdiction, practice area, and on the right, you can sort by relevance, title, or release date. As I scroll through, you're going to see a couple different hyperlinks. That read hyperlink will allow you to jump directly into this volume. If it's the first time you're accessing this volume, it would just start you right at the cover image. If you've previously accessed this volume, it'll drop you to where you left off. So if you know that, volume 1 of California Family Law Practice and Procedure is exactly what you needed, you can click read and jump right into it. However, if you want a little bit more information, you can click anywhere on the title itself. And that's going to take you to what we call a book details page. This is going to give you all of the information you've ever needed to know about this volume. On the left-hand side, you'll see that it's going to list out the edition and release information. If you're accessing this remotely, you'll have a limited number of copies available for each volume. So it'll tell you, how many copies are currently available. If for some reason someone else has already borrowed this volume and you need it, rather than saying read, it'll say place a hold. You have the ability to place holds on individual volumes. All you have to do is enter your email address. And as soon as that volume becomes available, you'll receive an email letting you know that you can log in to the digital library and borrow that volume. A little further down, you'll also see a title link. So if you want to share this link or a link to this volume with anyone else, you can. And at the bottom here, links to my tags and the entire set. You have the ability to tag individual volumes within the digital library. Tags are unique to your user ID. We don't touch them at any point. We don't delete them. They will be there until you delete them or you delete your user ID. I like to think of tags as quick links to those volumes I'm going to use over and over again. What's really nice is that if you do create the tag, those volumes will pop up on the homepage and under my tags. So you just don't have to run a search for them each time you need them. If you want to create a tag, all you have to do is click create new tag, name it whatever you want here. And after I create it, you'll see it adds it right here. Again, this tag will now populate on my homepage and under my tags. If I scroll all the way up to the right again, you'll see that there's a table of contents. If you expand out every chapter and subchapter here, you'll notice that they're all hyperlinked. So you can quickly click on any specific section and jump right to it. It's a nice, easy way to scroll through the TOC and click on any section that you want to get into. You'll have links to the individual volumes within the set. So if you remember that you needed a different volume, you can quickly jump into it. And for any volume that has prior releases attached to it, you'll have this prior releases dropdown. When you click into it, you'll see that it expands out and it'll show you every single release that we have access to. Depending on the title, our prior releases go back to about 2011 in our system. So you'll see it list out the release number, that release date. There's a blue read button that you can click on and jump right into it. If you ever need something further back than what we currently have access to, this is a nice example because it goes all the way back to 2010 here. Just reach out to me. A lot of times we have access to older editions or releases. They just weren't added to the digital library. So again, if there's ever something that you need further back than what's available, send me a note and I'd be happy to reach out to our editorial team to see if we have access to it. Last thing to point out on this screen is this search list title option. This section is where you can actually run a search for a keyword or a phrase that you're looking for throughout the content of this volume itself. If you're looking at a single standalone volume title, it'll just say this volume. However, if you're looking at a volume that happens to be part of a multi-volume set, like the one we currently are looking at, you have the ability to run a search through all volumes at one time. So if I was looking for, let's see, temporary custody orders, there you go. I can type in my search terms and you'll see that on the right-hand side, it's going to tell me what volume, which section my search terms pop up in. As I scroll down, you'll see my search terms bolded and highlighted. It'll give you a little snippet of that section as well, just so you can see if it's on point with what you're currently researching. And then you'll see two separate hyperlinks. The share hyperlink would allow you to share a link to this volume and section with anyone else that has access to the digital library. So it's a nice way to share a very unique link to a specific section rather than just to the title itself. And then go to passage would allow you to jump directly into this volume and section so you can continue your research. I'm going to click on that. And when I do, you'll see this drop down appears. And this is just letting you know that, you're borrowing this title. You have 7 days to use it. You can borrow up to 10 volumes at any one time. And then just click borrow and it will automatically open up the volume for you. When it opens, it will default to this 2-page view. Ooh, there we go. So it'll default to open up in a 2-page view, almost as if you had the title open on your desk. It's going to highlight where your search terms pop up just to draw your eye to it. And then from here, you have a number of different options available to you. In the top right-hand corner, there's a bookmark icon, and then you'll see these 3 lines. If you click on those 3 lines, the second option is to change everything to a 1-page per screen view. Again, it's user preference, but you can change that if you'd like to. If there's anyone that uses keyboard shortcuts, we do list them all out here, so you have a keyboard commands option. And if there's anyone that utilizes a screen reader, all of our titles are compatible with 99% of the screen readers on the market. So this will walk you through it. Under keyboard commands, it'll show you how to utilize a screen reader with the digital library titles. But if you need further assistance, you can reach out to your library staff or reach out to me. I'd be happy to walk you through it. A little further down, on the bottom of the page, you're going to see all of your additional menu resources. On the far right, you have a settings button. You can customize everything about how you're viewing these volumes. So everything from the background lighting, if you don't like that bright white background, to the size of the font, the spacing, the type of font, if you don't like the publisher's default. All of this is customizable. And if you take the time to customize it, it will remember it for future use. On the far left, you'll see a print icon. You can print full sections of these titles. You can print individual pages, full chapters. You can print a hard copy or print a PDF, whatever it is you're interested in. You do have that option. If you know you're going to be printing quite a bit, we do suggest using Google Chrome. It tends to give you the best print options at this point. However, you can use any modern browser to print or access the digital library. The only thing we're not compatible with is Internet Explorer. So if you have an older system that still defaults to IE, just know you'll have to open up a different browser. Moving to the right here, you have a table of contents. It is all hyperlinked, so it'll show you where you currently are within the text. but you can click on any section to jump right to it. Next to that, you'll have a find feature. This will allow you to run a search for a keyword or a phrase, but it's only going to look through this one volume rather than all of the volumes we looked through previously. But if we wanted to use, say, those same search terms, do that. And when you run the search, it's going to show you your search terms bolded. It'll show you where they pop up in every single section. I can click on any specific one here, and you'll see it highlights my search terms. And then up at the top, you'll see these forwards and backwards arrow keys, which will allow you to jump from result to result within this specific volume. If you want to see all of those results listed again, you can just click Show All, and it'll bring up that list. Finally, probably the most used feature of the digital library is the ability to highlight and annotate these texts. Your notes and highlights are unique to your user ID. No one else will ever see them. We don't delete them at any point. They will be there indefinitely until you delete them or you delete your user ID. And any notes or highlights that you add are always available to you in multiple spots throughout the digital library. So if you plan on adding any notes or highlights, all you have to do, I'll go back over here, is click and drag your cursor. And when you do, this add annotation option will pop up. When you click on that, this little window appears. If it's the first time using this feature, it'll default to that bright yellow highlighter. However, you can choose any color that you need to. You can add whatever notes you're interested in. So you can add a note here. There's not a limit to the length of the note, so feel free to add as much or as little as you need to. Click Save, and you'll see it automatically saves that highlight. You can add as many notes or highlights as you want to. You can change your highlighting colors as you go. Again, all of your notes and highlights are unique to your user ID, so no one else will ever see these. Once you've added notes and highlights, you can always access them from the annotations button down below. This will show you all of the notes and highlights that you've added to this volume. If you've added quite a few of them, you can actually run a search for a keyword or a phrase through your notes and highlights. You can narrow by highlighting color on the right-hand side here. You can edit or delete your notes and highlights from this page. And if you like to have a hard copy of them, you can print a hard copy or print a PDF right from the screen as well. So lots of different options when it comes to notes and highlights. Again, this is just the first spot you'll see your notes and highlights when you're in the text itself. I'll show you how to access them from the home page in a minute. A couple other features you have access to. You might have noticed when I highlighted a section of text here, there were a few other options. So under the add annotation feature, you also have copy with citation. That would copy this section of text to a clipboard. And when you paste it into a Word document or an email, it will include the citation for you. It's similar to the copy with cite feature in Lexis Advance or Lexis Plus, if you're familiar with that. There's also a copy passage link option that would allow you to copy a hyperlink to this specific section of text that you can then share with any of or anyone that has access to this digital library. It's a nice way to share a very specific link to the text rather than just sharing it to the volume or section itself. Finally, define and find will do exactly what they say. If you've highlighted a term or a phrase and you've clicked define, it will pull up a definition. If you click find, it will look for other instances of that term or phrase within this text. Last thing to point out when you're in a title, you're going to see a lot of different hyperlinks. Anything you see hyperlinked in blue will just link you within this volume. Anything you see hyperlinked in green, those are going to be primarily your cases and codes. Those would want to link out to that case or code on Lexis Advance or Lexis Plus. And so this is where it gets a little different. Depending on whether you're on site within the library or if you're accessing this remotely, there's going to be a couple different options. If you're on site within the library, it should allow you to link up and access that case or code through the patron access portal that the library has access to. If you're accessing this remotely, so from your home or your office, chances are when you click on one of these links, you'll get to a screen that looks like this. And it's just a Lexis sign-on screen. If you have your own Lexis credentials, amazing, great, put them in, click sign in, and it will automatically take you to that case or code you clicked on. If you don't have your own Lexis ID, it'll just stop you right at that sign-on page. So you'll have to reach out to the library staff for assistance accessing that case or code. So that's the only difference when it comes to accessing any of these hyperlinks. If you're on site within the library, it should automatically open it up. If you're accessing remotely, you'll have to have your own ID to get into that case or code. That is pretty much all of the functionality when it comes to what you have access to within an actual ebook. I'm going to close out of here. And when I do, it just takes me to where we started, which were those search results. I can jump into another one if I want to, but I'm just going to close that out. Also, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. We can tackle them in a few minutes here. But really quickly, I just want to go back and show you a couple of the final features that you have access to. We looked at the homepage and browse library. My books down below here will keep track of everything that you've ever borrowed. It's just a longer running list than what you can see on the homepage itself. So this will allow you to go back from the time you start with the digital library, whether it's 6 months or 6 years. It'll allow you to access every single volume that you've ever opened. And as you scroll down here, there's a couple things to point out. On the right-hand side here, you'll see this little clock icon. Now, we borrowed this volume and we have 7 days to use it if we need it. However, if you're finished early with the volume, we always say, come in, return it when you're done with it. And that way, if someone's placed a hold on it, the next person in line will have access to it. However, if you forget, it's okay. After that 7 days, it'll just automatically go back into circulation. But if we are done with it, we can click return and it will automatically go back into circulation for the next user. And I wanted to do that just so you can see where it would say place a hold. So again, if someone else has already borrowed that volume you need, rather than saying read, it'll say place a hold. When you do click on place a hold, this little option will appear. You just put in whichever email address you want to receive that notification and click place a hold, and it will automatically add that hold. You can view any of the holds that you've added to titles under My Books and the hold section up at the top here. You can edit and delete that hold right from here as well. There's multiple options that you have right from this page. If I click edit hold, I can either remove that hold or change the email address. Just know that you do have access to place holds, and there's not a limit, so you can add as many holds as you need to. Lastly, I want to talk about all of your notes and highlights. I mentioned that your notes and highlights are available from multiple spots within the digital library. So if we click on My Annotations, you'll see that it breaks it down by volume. So the most recent ones will be the first thing you see here. If I click View Annotations, that's going to show me all of the notes and highlights that I added to that volume. It'll tell you what color you highlighted them in, what you highlighted, any notes that you added. There's a citation, so you can jump right into it if you need to. And then from here, I'm going to just pick both of them here. But when I select them, you'll see this action appears. If I click on that, you'll see 2 options. The first is copy to clipboard. So if I just want to copy and paste my notes, that's great. Just click copy to clipboard. However, if I click add to export queue, you'll see it adds it over here on my left-hand side. And what's really nice is that you have the ability to add multiple notes and highlights from multiple volumes to your queue. So if you happen to be working on a project, you can come in and add as many notes and highlights as you need to from as many volumes as you need to. So I'm just quickly going through here and adding a few more so you can see this. But I can continuously add notes and highlights to my queue. And when I'm ready, I can go into my queue itself And you'll see it breaks it down by volume, but it'll show you all of your notes and highlights. Up at the top, I can filter. So if there's a specific highlighting color I'm looking for, I can narrow that down. On the right-hand side here, if there is a term or a phrase I'm looking for through all of my notes and highlights, I can search for it. And when I'm ready, I can pick and choose whichever notes and highlights I'm interested in downloading. And when I do, this action options appears. You'll always have the ability just to copy and paste if that's all you want to do. However, from this screen, you can also download to a Google Drive account, a PDF, a CSV Excel file. So we give you more options than just copy and paste when it comes to downloading and organizing your notes and highlights. When you're done, you can remove them from your queue if you want. That doesn't remove them from the titles. You'll still always have access to those notes and highlights, or you can leave them in here indefinitely if you're still working on a project. That is pretty much the digital library in a nutshell. Does anyone have any questions for me? Yes. Okay. So I'm going to read this question really quick. When I'm saying on-site, I actually mean in the San Francisco Law Library itself. You don't have to be using one of their terminals if you're connected within their IP range on your own personal device. That would suffice as well.
So I'm sorry, can I just really fast about it? And please, yeah, ask any more questions. Actually, we don't have the ability to access your laptop, Westlaw or I'm sorry, Lexis or other databases here in the library, but it's on our computers, on our actual physical computers. At the time, yeah, it used to be different, but there's been an issue with the Wi-Fi. We're trying to work on it, but it's a long, ongoing thing.
Okay,
Just doing with security and everything. But also, but I did want to mention, and I'll put this in the link because this is another resource that could help you remotely. And if you go to the website, it's the California courts website, and you can search most of the California opinions on the court's website, and most of them are going to be there. And it's actually a Lexis database, so you can see the cases. So that's one effective way to do research from the cases. You could just paste that citation into that court database from that link. Thank you. Sorry about that interruption.
No, that's perfect. You know, and it's funny, LA County Law Library has a similar issue when it comes to their internet and access points. So thank you for clarifying the on-site question.
Oh, sure, because it used to be that way. So, and then it changed because of security issues and stuff. So It's too bad though.
One day it'll get better.
Yeah, I don't see any questions yet, but I actually had a question, Andrea, if that's you had mentioned when you were showing us the section from the Kirkland book on family law, and you had mentioned the ability to download maybe multiple sections. And would we need to do that one section at a time, or is there a way to do multiple sections?
Currently, you'll have to do it section by section.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
Yes. However, and I'm going to point this out for anyone on the call, up in the top right-hand corner under the My Account feature, there is a send feedback option. And we always put in feedback, and actually printing and downloading multiple sections is something we talk about a lot. But that send feedback button goes directly to the development team. And that's how they prioritize their updates to the digital library. So, you know, if it's something like printing multiple sections or anything else that you see that you think could be improved or you want added to the digital library, feel free to send feedback. Again, this goes directly to the development team, and they'll add it to their queue. And once they start working on the next, say, 6 months plan when it comes to updates and enhancements, they look to see what's being requested most, and that's how they add their enhancements. So please send your feedback in, because that's how we see change.
Yeah. Thank you.
Sure.
I don't see any more questions, but I just want to say, this has been a great resource um, for us to be able to offer and to help the people, the serving San Francisco community, and it's really great. So thank you so much, and thank you for such a helpful presentation.
No problem. Thanks for having me. And again, if you guys have any questions, reach out to your library staff or reach out to me. I'm here in Southern California, so we're on the same time zone, luckily. You can always reach me at andrea.roberts@lexisnexis.com. Or again, send your questions to the library staff and they can forward them on to me as well. But thanks everyone for joining me.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.